You know how your favorite shows always have that one character that you can relate to on a deeper level? Whether it be because of their actions or personality, it's these little things that make stories special to us. More often than not, video games can't give you that same connection because the characters in them are all too busy being badasses. Take me for example. I'm no bubblegum chewing space marine, and I sure as hell didn't have a harem of cute girls surrounding me in high school. And that's where games like Shadow Warrior come in and help us little guys feel like we can do something cool too.
Please explode. Come on. Ha! Cowabunga, assholes!
Lo Wang is not your average hero with guns, and while he may not really fit the mold most gamers want to be, he sort of fits the mold that they actually are. I'm not saying he's a perfect representation of a typical gamer, but he could probably give Travis Touchdown a run for his money. Just look at this dude, driving a Nissan Fairlady and jamming out to some copyrighted tunes. When I first saw him, I honestly thought that he was some generic side character that was gonna die within the next minute, but come to find out he is actually the protagonist of the game. Wang sets out looking to purchase the Nobitsura Kage, an ancient katana for his boss Zilla. He meets with a guy named Mizuyaki who doesn't want to sell the sword, so Wang decides to try to take it by force. He gets close, but Mizuyaki and a demon named Hoji stop him. After being caged, Wang wakes up to find that to his luck, demons have attacked the compound. Using the chaos, Wang escapes and continues the search for Mizuyaki and the Nobitsura Kage. He finds Mizuyaki in a fatal state as a result of the outbreak. Hoji then decides to team up with Wang on his quest to gather all three parts of the Nobitsura Kage. This game is essentially Doom for weebs with a side of Duke Nukem. You fight wave after wave of demons with the many different weapons you collect along the way, while Wang says some silly little one-liner you'd hear in an action movie.
Guess I was just too much Wang for them to handle.
The writers certainly knew their audience and filled this game with plenty of lame jokes that would get the right people laughing from time to time. I'll admit, I definitely had some chuckles here and there. Shadow Warrior was released back in 2013, and there are definitely some times that you can feel its age. The movement is kinda clunky and the gunplay feels weightless. You do get used to the gameplay, so it's not all that bad. Some guns feel really good and others not so much. They do all feel usable to some degree though. For example, I don't particularly like the SMG, but whenever I fight flying enemies, I always pull it out just to spray and pray. While some guns can be fun, the best weapon is clearly the katana. This game is a bit of an identity crisis. It wants to be a shooter in the realm of Doom, but it performs best as a hack and slash. The guns do feel super unique, but can be underpowered without upgrades. The sword is strong from the get-go, and it only gets better with each upgrade. If it weren't for the flying enemies, you could probably be fine just using the sword the whole game. And for this reason, the flying enemies are actually my least favorite demon to fight. There are a handful of different enemies that you will fight while playing. They range from the most basic grunts of the demon army to the bigger and larger creatures. It follows along the video game trope of introducing boss-like monsters that will eventually become normal enemies you will fight later on. Another place this game shines is the actual boss monsters. Each one is surprisingly unique, even if the method to kill them is somewhat the same. For the majority of all the different demons, I would tend to just slash away with my sword or use a shotgun/rocket launcher combo. The bosses typically required the use of different guns to get them knocked down, which then led to slashing away at their weak spots. The base mechanic of the sword is left click for quick slashes and right click to do a charge attack. This works fine in the early game, but pretty quickly on you get access to a charge thrust attack which does everything the right click charge attack does but better. Not only does it do more damage, but with some upgrades, it can also have a lifesteal mechanic, making it so that if you just spam that attack, you can actually end fights with more health than when you started. This brings up another thing. The skill tree, if you can even call it that, is kinda useless and can basically be forgotten about. There are some good things in there like what I mentioned earlier, but in all honesty, you could play the whole game without ever opening up this menu. It feels too complex for a simple kill everything that moves kind of game. While killing everything that moves, you make your way through some incredible scenery. This game has some beautiful vistas and I love it. There are without a doubt a million reused assets to make these gorgeous views, but it's done in a way that isn't very noticeable. You know how when you're playing through Halo 1, the second half of the campaign is just you going through all of the first couple levels but backwards? Well, Shadow Warrior takes that concept and applies it to just about every single level. It's not so much as backtracking through old areas as it is looping back to where you started, and when you do loop back, you find a new door has opened up and you can continue on in that direction. Like I said, it's not completely noticeable, but if you're paying close attention, you will definitely see it. Even still, it shouldn't bother you too much unless you happen to get lost when you get to the crossroads and end up going through the door you originally came through rather than the new one that has opened up. Regardless, the map design both visually and mechanically is probably the game's biggest strong suit, and I think it's awesome. Speaking of looping back around, let's get back into the story a bit. I won't spoil anything because as imperfect as this game is, I honestly do believe everyone should check it out. Hoji was banished from the demon realm because of what he did that put their world into disarray. He doesn't know what he actually did because he sealed his memory away in an android called a Whisperer. Throughout the game, you come across Whisperers, and after taking them out, you are treated to the memories that gave it life. This helps provide the backstory to the world and the situation you're in. You see the memories of different demons, each adding their own piece to the puzzle. The best part of the story has to be Lo Wang and Hoji's bromance. The two start out not really caring much for each other, but then continue on to be proper bros.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
They have some pretty funny moments and banter all through the game, and I think Hoji is probably one of the best sidekick protagonist characters that we see countless times in video games. Truthfully, I was pretty confused by this story for some time when I first started playing, and I think this may have happened because I wasn't expecting much of a story to begin with. When I finally got invested, I had to look back and figure out the story a bit more. Strangely enough, Shadow Warrior has a great story, good characters with some witty dialogue, as well as a hell of an ending. Between the atmosphere and the story, I was shocked by the quality of this game. It has a lot of potential, from the Bulletstorm-esque kill with skill to the almost amazing hack and slash gameplay. There is a lot that can be improved upon, and hopefully these and many other things will see improvement with the sequel. But to be honest, even if it feels pretty much the same as this one, as long as I get some Wang, I'll be happy.
Alright, Who wants some Wang?
Hey everyone, thank you for watching our video on Shadow Warrior. If you have liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. We post videos like this every single Friday. Feel free to check out our Patreon where we post behind the scenes as well as an exclusive Patreon only podcast. Thank you to our Patreons as well, we really appreciate you guys. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep it rad.